I'm pretty sure after watching Alan Becker's Animator versus Animation series, you've asked yourself, how are these amazing stick figure animations even made? Could I ever make something like that? Well, I had the exact same questions when I first discovered Alan Becker. Back then, I had no answers until I finally figured out the secret. And here's the thing, it's not just possible for me, it's possible for anyone who's into animation. You can make animations like Animator versus Animation way easier than you think. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create your own stick figure animation in the same style using the simplest method I've been working with for years. Honestly, it's the easiest way I know. All you need to do is grab the character I've prepared for you, animate it, and export your video. That's it. Super simple. The best part? You don't even need a drawing tablet or pen. You can do the whole thing with just your mouse and keyboard. So, grab a cup of coffee and let's dive in. To make a stick figure animation, we really just need 3 pieces of software. 1. Moho. This is where we'll use the ready-made character and actually create the animation. The good thing is, Moho is a professional tool, but it's a lot easier to learn than most others. 2. Lightshot, a screenshot tool for your computer screen. With it, you can quickly grab a screenshot of any part of your Windows screen, whether you want the mouse cursor included or not. 3. Filmora or CapCut. We'll use one of these for editing some parts of the video and for easier audio syncing. Alright, let's start setting up the scene. For an Animator versus Animation style project, we obviously need 3 things: a Windows background, a stick figure character, and a cursor to play the role of the animator. The first step is to download the ready-made stick figure I created for you. You can grab it easily and for free from my Discord server or Telegram channel. Once you've downloaded it, just open Moho, create a new project, drag the character file into the workspace, and hit OK. That's it. You now have the character Vio, which happens to be my own character, inside your computer. You can also see its layer in the layer panel. Next, besides the stick figure character, we'll also need a mouse cursor. I've prepared a Moho-ready cursor file as well, which you can also download from Discord or Telegram and then import into the software, just like the character. And finally, the background. That's super easy. Just use Lightshot or even the built-in Windows screenshot tool to take a full screenshot of your desktop, then drop it into Moho. Now everything's ready for animation. But before we start animating, I want to show you the correct way to use the rigged stick figure character I prepared, because while it's simple to use, there are a few tricks you'll need to know. To animate this stick figure, you really only need 2 tools from Moho's bone section. Select Bone to select one or multiple bones. Transform Bone to move or rotate bones. As you can see, every part of the stick figure's body has a bone: head, arms, legs, and body. Using the Transform tool, you can animate the head, body, or even the root bone, which moves the entire character at once. But for the arms and legs, you'll want to use the special IK bones I set up. These bones control the entire arm or leg with just one move, which saves you a lot of time while animating. At every joint, I also added a point bone and a smart bone. These are super important for making the animation look professional. Here's why. When arms or legs bend, you don't want them looking sharp or pointy. It doesn't look natural. Sometimes the arms even need to bend into a smooth curve. That's where the smart bones come in. When you bend a limb, you can use the smart bone to adjust how sharp or smooth the bend looks, even turning it into a perfect curve if you want. And if you're more advanced, you can also use the point bones for creating special, custom movements. 2 important tips. Always animate from frame 1 and onward. If you move bones in frame 0, you won't actually animate the character. You'll just mess up its setup. So before moving anything, make sure you're at frame 1 or higher on the timeline. Control which way arms and legs bend. When you bend a limb, you'll notice it can bend in 2 directions. To flip the bend to the direction you want, just left-click and hold on the forearm bone and drag sideways. The same works for legs. Just click and drag on the shin bone. Just be careful not to click the very top or bottom of the bone. That's for resizing or moving it. Alright, now let's create a short little animation together. Here's the scenario. The stick figure enters the screen and notices the cursor sitting there. It walks closer, but suddenly the cursor disappears and reappears behind it. The stick figure gets scared. And that's it, short and simple. So let's get started. First, I move the stick figure off screen and scale it down using the Transform Layer tool. Then I set up a pose for it and hit Ctrl F. This shortcut adds keyframes to all of the stick figure's bones, so always press it once before you start animating other parts, just to make sure everything is properly keyed. Next, I place the cursor in its starting position, lying there as planned. From here, I start animating the stick figure step by step, just like in my scenario. First, I animate the walk cycle. I won't go into full detail here since I've already made a dedicated video about walk cycles, but the key is to watch your timeline carefully so the motion isn't too fast or too slow. Personally, I animate the steps with 2-frame spacing between keyframes. After animating a few steps, I save time by copying and pasting the previous frames. Then I select all the bones and just adjust the character's position forward. This way, I don't need to reanimate every step. I can just reuse the cycle to create smooth walking. Once the walk finishes, I animate the stick figure showing a surprised reaction, just as I had in mind for the scenario. Next, I animate it running toward the cursor. Run cycles are a bit more advanced. You'll find all the detailed tips in my separate video about that, so here I just show the result. Then I animate the character bending down. To make this look slower and smoother, I spread out the keyframes more on the timeline. Now it's time for the cursor to disappear. To do that, I double-click on the cursor layer to open its settings. For the animation to work properly, I first enable animated effects, then uncheck the visible option and hit apply. This creates a keyframe showing the layer is no longer visible. To make the disappearance look glitchy, I turn visibility on 1 frame later, then off again 1 frame after that. This back and forth creates a nice glitch effect instead of just a plain vanish. A few frames later, I turn the cursor visible again, but before moving it behind the character, I double-click in the transform channels, position and rotation, to add keyframes and lock its state, so nothing breaks in the animation. Then I reset the cursor's movements from the top menu and position it right behind the stick figure. From here on, there aren't many special tricks, so I'll keep it quick. I animate the stick figure looking surprised and sitting down. I animate the cursor bumping into the stick figure's back. Then I animate the stick figure getting scared, even lifting slightly off the ground for impact. Finally, I animate the cursor looking cheerful with a soft, smooth motion. And that's the end of the animation. After finishing all the character and cursor animation, the last step is animating the camera. This is super easy. Moho's camera tools let you move the camera around, zoom in, or zoom out. I just adjust the camera the way I want to give the final animation a bit more life. Before exporting, I always check the project settings to make sure the quality is set to high. Do this every time. It makes a big difference in your final render. For export, hit Ctrl E to open the render menu. You can pick your output format there. The best quality and heaviest option in Moho is ASF, so I choose that and hit OK. Then the render starts, and done. Now the animation is ready, and all that's left is sound design. I personally do my audio in Filmora, but you can use any editing software you like. So yeah, that's a full walkthrough of how to make an animator versus animation style project. Of course, this one video isn't enough to fully master stick figure animation, so I recommend you also check out my other tutorials like walk cycles, run cycles, the 12 principles of animation, and my video about sound effects for stick figure animation. Those will really help you improve. One last note, while this method is definitely the easiest way, it's not the cheapest. Moho is a paid software, and you'll need Moho Pro for this workflow. The debut version has a lot of limitations, so keep that in mind. I hope this video was helpful and that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'd be happy to help. And if you want to support me, don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.